experience. Like, this is one of those dream things where all these people from every walk of your life are here. This is insane. So thank you for coming, and thank you, Pam, so much for having me. Okay, they asked me to talk a little bit about my work history, so everybody pull up a chair. It's going to be really long.
I'll testify to that.
No, but I thought instead of talking about, I am old enough to have done a whole lot of things, I thought I would talk a little bit about the last couple of years and what led me to do what I'm doing now, which is my very heart and soul. So a few years ago, I left the corporate world and left the San Francisco area and moved back to North Texas, where we have wonderful family, supportive family there, and came into Aubrey, Texas, and started an artist collective. Where's Linka? Where are you? Hi, Linka. Started an artist collective and was so inspired by the community and by the amazing artists that I was working with. It was a wonderful experience, and the business was rather short-lived, but it was a very life-altering experience for me, and in so many ways, and I think for a lot of other people. But I had a little detour, and one of those things was I woke up one morning and I didn't have vision in one of my eyes. I was just completely blind, and I don't know, didn't seem like a very big deal. They said it was a stroke, and
No big deal.
Well, you know, I think what we know about life is usually those things that seem pretty bad, they really have a silver lining in them, and a lot of my friends and family said they thought that this was going to be some sort of a wonderful opening, and that I was going to discover some sort of creativity and art that I perhaps hadn't done before. And I just felt that, and I knew it. And Charles and I then found ourselves both unemployed, so we moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico. We don't do things real logically. We follow our hearts, and so we went to Santa Fe, and I absolutely knew that there was something I had never ever tried that was going to be very meaningful to me in the way I began to create something. So I tried every medium you can think of. Just tried, and I enjoyed them all. But the minute I touched this medium that I use, and it's called cold wax, and it's just a very creamy mixture, has mineral spirits in its wax, and it just is, it's like spreadable butter or frosting, canned frosting. And the minute I touched it, I just knew that this was what I wanted to do. And so I started playing with this stuff every night and every weekend, started on little postcards, and then I had another little turning point, a major turning point actually, and that was a very dear friend of mine passed away, and she had told me, we knew she was dying, and she had told me, her name's Nell, a lot of us here know Nell, and she had told me that when she went to wherever she was going, that she would find a way to communicate with me. And she did. And I don't want to cry, but it was...
I'll cry for you.
Okay. But it was an incredibly moving experience, because what I painted was immediately different. And what I did was guided by her as if she was in me. And you know, my friends that knew Nell would call and say, wow, what's going on? I see Nell in your work, and I feel it. And so instead of being sad about her passing away, I wasn't. I was like, I had this crazy elation, because it was very much like she was, you know, when somebody dies and you say, oh, but they're still with me. She was with me. She was just in me. And so so that was a very transforming experience. And the stuff that came out of me, people started asking me if they could buy it. And so I said, nah, I don't really need the money, but
Who is that?
no. So I started selling it, and so that's the way it came to be. And just to explain a little bit, you're welcome to touch the stuff. This is all dry, but I paint in a lot of layers of cold wax mixed with oil, and I try to treat every layer with a lot of respect, and I paint in one abstract painting on top of another, on top of another, on top of another, until at some point somebody, somewhere, my intuition tells me it's time to start carving into the wax, the many layers. And I can't tell you how many layers is on each one. You can maybe count the colors underneath, but it's, maybe 5, maybe 40. I can't tell you. And I start carving in. My first one that I carved into, I actually used a butter knife. And now I use all sorts of utensils, but a lot of palette knives and things like that. And for me, the whole process has been very metaphorical for life, because if you've lived as long as I have, you've had a whole lot of really great things happen to you. And, those for me are really bright and wonderful colors, and the paintings are beautiful. And then the next layer of your life, and on my painting, might be very dark and murky and sad, and something that sometimes you want to just chuck, or you want to cover it up again. So I cover it up again with something pretty, and then it's like peeling away an onion. You can forget all that stuff and not learn from it, or you can enjoy every one of those experiences and peel them away, and underneath all those layers are all the colors and all the stories that make us all who we are. So that's a little bit about, if you thought they were just trees, maybe now you understand them a little bit more. But, so that's a little bit about what I do. So anybody have any questions?